Hi everyone, it's Roy here from IZODS. So today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Montblanc 149s from their 75th anniversary, which is now a very long time ago, as we're coming up to the 100th anniversary this year. So this is going to be part of an ongoing series of reviews whereby anything interesting or unusual that we think you might like that comes through the business, we'll jump on camera and give you our thoughts, why we think it's great, what we like about it, and hopefully you'll get to see all sorts of interesting wonderful things over the coming months and years. It won't necessarily always be Montblanc, it's whatever we think you might like the look of. So today we're starting with an icon. It's the Montblanc 149, specifically the 75th anniversary pens, which were released in 1999. And it's important to note that it was 75 years of Meisterstück, not Montblanc. So obviously that takes us all the way back to 1924. Now the 149 was launched in 1952, and these early pens rightly have a very, very special place in Montblanc history. We've got one here actually, one of the 50s pens. There you go, take a look. And they vary. This is a really easy way of spotting them, because instead of the gold-plated rings they have in the cap, the two smaller bands are actually sterling silver. So they're known as silver rings 149s. You don't see them that often, but they are wonderful. But anyway, that's where the inspiration then came from. The 149 itself changed relatively little over the decades. You know, we can get into the minutiae of how nibs changed, materials changed, feeds changed from ebonite to plastic, etc. But that's a whole other discussion. Essentially, the main premise of the pen stayed the same. And then in 1999, along came these 75th anniversary editions. Now these days we're used to loads of different Montblanc limited editions, special editions, all sorts of wonderful creations, whether it's great characters, donation series, Muses edition, etc. But in 1999 you've got the Writers Edition series, which has been going since the early 90s. You've got Patron of Art series, but if you're a Montblanc fan, you're not spoiled like we are these days. You know, anything kind of unusual and different is pretty much stuck with those two series. And then along came the 75th anniversary pens, and it's worth noting it's not just 149s. They did this across the range. They did pencils, rollerballs, smaller fountain pens, solitaire versions, not of the 149, but in sterling silver, solid white gold with diamonds. But the 149, really, they hadn't done anything different with it. And then along came these two pens. So the first being the special edition, yellow gold trim, so very familiar. And then the second one was the rose gold, and that was available as a limited edition of 1,924 pieces, hence the start of Meisterstück in 1924. And this was the first time that we saw something other than yellow gold. Like, you know, it still looks beautiful these days, but in 1999 it was like, wow, this is totally different. There are several features that make these different from standard 149s. Top of my list is the nib design. It's still to this day one of my favourite Montblanc nib designs, because it's pretty subtle in the grand scheme of things. There you go. Pretty subtle, but at the same time, I don't know, just great. There's something about a 149 nib that's different, that really works. I think 75 years of passion and soul, and yeah, they still look good to this day. The second was this additional cap ring by the clip ring, and that's, I think it looks great, because it kind of makes the cap look more substantial. In both the special and the limited edition, you've got this little diamond set directly above the top of the clip, and it just, I don't know, it just adds an extra level of heft to to the cap, I really like it. And then on the limited edition, we're spoiled even further because we get mother of pearl snow cap. I mean, what's not to like about mother of pearl snow cap? On any Montblanc pen, doesn't matter if it's a mega limited edition or whatever, they still don't roll it out that often. So yeah, this was something where they kind of went a bit crazy. And in fact, I remember in the business about 2.5 years ago, we had a prototype for one of these. So it was actually a standard 149, but it had the mother of pearl snow cap. So it didn't have, it wasn't 75th anniversary, it was a standard 149, but then it was a factory prototype, and they had that mother of pearl snow cap, and it just that shimmer, the way it catches the light, there's something really lovely about it. These pens have a really special place in my heart because the special edition was actually the first pen that I ever bought to resell. More than a decade ago, so I always have a little smile when it comes through the business because it's a pen that, yeah, I remember being the first ever one that was bought specifically to be sold on. They came with special packaging. This was the special edition, and it also came with a CD, which I know, CD, eh? And this was the limited edition, very similar, slightly different texture. And that one didn't come with a CD. A lot of people don't always think that. They kind of think it will be the other way around. So you get people that say, I bought the limited edition, but it didn't come with its CD. Actually, that's the way it was. The special editions had CDs, the limited editions didn't. Hey, you've got enough to look at if you've got the limited edition. Enough wonderful things. Value-wise, these have held up really well and increased. The special edition is somewhere around £1,000, a bit more for unused with box, a bit less for used. The limited edition, it varies a little bit, but it's around £1,500 to £2,000 again, a little bit less for something that's used. You know, maybe a little bit more if it's factory sealed still. But these are a great place to enjoy a 149 that's unusual without being too kind of, you know, the 149, you know, even if you look at the current release with the Orient Express, which is that dark blue, although it's got the engraving on the cap, it's never a shouty pen. It's still, is it possible to say the 149 is subtle? Yeah, maybe it's subtle, but at the same time, these they're a nod to something a little more special without being too crazy. So you can enjoy all the kind of classic features of the 149 without it being too in your face. These are getting more and more difficult to pick up now. As I record this, we have got these two on the website, both unused, really, really beautiful, but they're getting difficult to come by. But A, because there are fewer good versions available, B, because people realise that they have a bit of a special place in Montblanc history. You know, I don't want to overplay it because there's lots of pens that have a really important part, but actually, if you look at the Montblanc timeline, these are really important because they tinkered with a recipe that they didn't historically tinker with. You know, now you could walk into a Montblanc boutique and buy a 149 with platinum trim, rose gold trim, yellow gold trim, whatever they're going to do for the 100th anniversary. But back in 1999, it was that yellow gold and black resin. You know, there wasn't anything different, and so they do hold a really special place for people. But anyway, hope that's useful. We'll be in touch again when we've recorded something else. There's loads we can kind of already catch up and do. Any suggestions, any questions, please get in touch. I hope that was useful. Cheers, take care.